Now, my program this afternoon, the Champions Code, it's based specifically on 2 series of books that I've written. This top series, Raising Stanley, Raising Lombardi, this was about what it took to hoist that trophy. I interviewed over 1,000 professional athletes and coaches for this series that all had one thing in common. They were all champions. Now, the bottom series is called The Code. Now, in sports, there's rules. There's black and white rules that are designed to keep the game honest, but mixed in between these black and white rules are some shades of gray. They're called unspoken, unwritten rules, or codes. And if you break these codes, there's consequences. And that's what leads to fighting in hockey or getting beamed in baseball. So my program, it's about winning, but winning with integrity, winning the right way. You can take shortcuts, and there's all sorts of sneaky things you can do to gain an edge, but being a champion, it's about winning the right way. As I've learned, champions, the people who we like, the people who we trust, the people who just get it, they've got a very unique DNA. I want you to think about your DNA. There was a big Harvard research study that came out years ago that talked about the #1 overall predictor of success across any line of business, and this is what it was. So I'd say you're not so much in the life insurance business, you're in the relationship business. But it's not just about the number of Facebook friends you have or the number of people that you know. It's really about the quality. So I want you to think differently about why someone would choose to do business with you. I want you to think about the differentiators that separate you from everyone else. Why would I want to buy insurance from you? These are questions that are very broad, very basic, but I want you to think about them from a very, very different way. I've broken my program into 3 sections. After each section, I'm going to share something that's either working or not working in my world, and I want you to think about how it translates to your world. Let's dive in. First section, 6 characteristics. As I've learned from all my research, champions, they're internally driven to succeed, and that starts with accountability. That's Wayne Gretzky. I talked about him yesterday morning. He's the guy I had a man crush on as a kid. He was my hero. I'm a huge hockey fan. If you're in America, hockey's a really big deal, and Wayne was amazing. As I told you yesterday, Wayne was the NHL, the National Hockey League's all-time leader in goals, and he was the all-time leader in assists, the pass leading to the goal. But he had twice as many assists than goals. And when I asked him about that, he said, a goal makes one guy happy, but an assist makes 2 guys happy. Wayne was a giver. And just like Soon Wen yesterday, Wayne took it upon himself to give, to help his teammates. If one of his teammates was in a slump, Wayne would stay after practice. They'd shoot 1,000 pucks. If one of his teammates was homesick, he'd take him out for beers because it was his responsibility as the leader to help to build that player's confidence, because he understood that confidence led to momentum, and momentum was why his Edmonton Oilers won 4 straight Stanley Cups. You know, in the media, when teams win, everyone's fat and happy. It's great. But when teams lose and there's problems and there's drama, we want to talk to the leader and we want answers. And after every game, no matter how bad the loss, there was Wayne, front and center at the podium, answering everyone's questions. No excuses, fully accountable. Accountability was so important to Wayne. He would never throw his teammates under the bus. He would always fall on the sword for them. He had their back. They could always count on him. When the media said, Wayne, what's the problem? Why is the team losing? Wayne would say, it's my fault. I need to work harder. Wayne was amazing. His work ethic was unprecedented. He was always the first guy on the ice every practice and the last guy off. I asked Wayne how he'd want his legacy to be, how he'd want to be remembered, and he said, I want to be remembered as the hardest worker in practice. When your best player says that kind of attitude, it's amazing what kind of momentum it could lead for your team. So I want you to think about what accountability looks like in your world. You know, in hockey, it's all about accountability. If you play dirty or cheat in hockey, you get beat up. So you have to be accountable. You have to be responsible for your own actions. That's Tom Brady. one of the greatest quarterbacks in the National Football League's history with the New England Patriots. When I think about what's unique about Tom's DNA, it's his work ethic that's completely off the charts. As I learned from studying Tom, he has 6 full-time coaches. 6. This is what makes the great ones great, their willingness to learn and constantly be a student of the game. Tom is nearly 40 years old, but he's still at the top of his game. Why?